good. Hey guys, we are gonna feed my family of 4 dinners all week for only $36. So this week I wanted to do an extreme budget week of meals, of dinners for my family. My budget was, I did not want to go over $40. I actually got out for $36. This time I did a Walmart pickup, and sometimes that's easier when you're on a tight budget because I kind of meal planned what meals I wanted to make this week, and I thought about how to make those cheaper and more budget friendly. And then I used Walmart, the website, and built a cart of the items that I needed, and then I could kind of gauge how close I was getting to my budget. And once I got everything I needed, I saw that I was in budget. I already had my cart built, so I decided to do a Walmart pickup order. Let me turn you around, show you what we got to feed my family of 4 dinners all week for only $36. So here's everything we got for $36. I did a Walmart pickup this time, and I'm really excited about these meals that we're gonna be making this week. I did have one substitution. This, I wanted the Great Value frozen cut okra. They didn't have it, so they substituted this. So the cost that this is, $36, was with the Great Value okra. So this is what we are using to eat dinners for a family of 4 all week. Let's start with the canned goods. We have a can of cream of chicken soup, whole kernel corn. I got 2 cans of this seasoned cabbage. I could have just got a head of cabbage, but one of you suggested this for a budget recipe, so I wanted to give it a try. And with the seasoned cabbage, it's already got a lot of flavor. So I'm excited about that recipe. I got 3 cans of diced tomatoes with green chilies. This is like Rotel, but it's the Great Value brand. 1 can of red enchilada sauce. I did get some flour tortillas, a block of sharp cheddar cheese. Did get 1 pound of brown rice. That's the cheapest rice option at my Walmart right now. A pound of black beans, a turkey kielbasa. I got this 3-pound bag of boneless chicken breast, frozen broccoli, frozen okra, and then I got 2 onions, 2 russet potatoes, a zucchini, and a green pepper. So this, along with some basic spices, is going to make dinner for my family of 4 all week. We're going to be making meals this week, 5 dinners for a family of 4, and all I spent was $36.12. I'm really excited about the meals that I have planned, and I even have a vegetarian option in there. Tip that I have when you are doing an extreme budget meal plan is to get ingredients that you can stretch across multiple meals. So when I'm making that meal plan, I'm going to pick 2 to 3 items that I'm going to stretch across multiple meals. For this meal plan, black beans is going to go in 2 meals. Rice is going to go in 2, maybe 3 meals. The chicken, I'm going to use in 3 different meals. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get these black beans cooked up. I'm going to do that in my Instant Pot. I am going to be just putting them in the Instant Pot with some water, some salt and pepper, keeping it really simple. I'm going to cook these up in the Instant Pot for about 30 minutes, let them naturally release for about 20, and then I'll have the black beans ready for 2 meals later on this week. So I didn't soak my beans, I just looked through them and I did rinse them off. So I put about 4 cups of water in there. I'm going to season this now with salt, pepper, and garlic powder. If you don't have garlic powder, that's optional. Salt. I'm going to do 2 big pinches. Pepper, 1 big pinch, and some garlic powder. I don't measure. I'm going to do this for 30 minutes and then let it naturally release for 20 minutes. So we'll make sure the seal is fixed, and here we go. Black beans cooking up for the week. Okay, so the first dinner that we're going to be making tonight is a chicken tortilla soup. So I'm going to be using some of this chicken. I got 3-pound bag of frozen chicken. I'm going to be using this in 3 meals. So I'm going to need 1 pound per meal. So I'm going to go ahead and divide this chicken up into 3 portions. I'm going to be getting 1 of those portions into my crock pot. I'm also going to be using half of this onion, so I'm going to get that chopped up, put that in the crock pot, and then I'm going to be using some chicken broth. I need 4 cups of a broth. And so I'm just gonna be using this chicken bouillon. You can add cubes to water. If you don't have chicken broth, you can just add water and salt. That will be just fine. So I'm gonna be adding that. We're gonna get that in the crock pot so the chicken can be cooking. And then later, in about 3 to 4 hours when the chicken is done, I'm gonna be adding in half of those black beans, some rotel tomatoes, and some corn. So I put 2 really large pieces of that chicken breast. It looked like there's gonna be enough pieces in that 3-pound bag that I can do 2 large ones per meal. So I've got that in my crock pot. I have diced up half my onion. I'm saving the other half for another meal. So I'm gonna add my onion in. And then I'm gonna add in my broth with that chicken bouillon and get this started in the crock pot for my chicken tortilla soup. Before I get this started, I am gonna add in some salt and some pepper. I'm gonna get this in my crock pot, cook it on high for 4 hours, then we'll finish the soup. Here are my black beans all finished in my Instant Pot. I'm going to put this into 2 portions because these are gonna be going in 2 meals this week. So here are those black beans. I'm gonna put these in the fridge and they'll be ready to use in our dinners. Here's that chicken and onion and broth after 4 hours. I mean, just look at that. It smells so good. I'm gonna shred up this chicken and then we're gonna put the rest of the soup ingredients in the crock pot. Here goes back in that shredded chicken. Next, I'm gonna add in this can of corn and I'm not gonna drain it. The can of rotel, undrained. And we're gonna add in those black beans that we made earlier. Now we're gonna give it a stir. This is what it looks like. Look at that. This is like almost full. My crock pot is almost full. This is making a ton of food. So I am gonna add some seasonings now. I'm gonna add some more garlic powder. I'm gonna add some cumin. And for a little heat, we're gonna add in some chili powder. Give that a stir. And we're gonna put the lid on, keep this on high, and this should be ready in an hour. And here is my soup in the bowl. This was very delicious. This made a ton of food and we had lunch the next day. Hey guys, it's night 2 of the $36 extreme budget meal plan for dinners for my family of 4 this week. Last night we had that tortilla soup. It was really good. I knew what it was gonna taste like. I've had it before, but it was really delicious. I didn't film a taste test. I actually just forgot. But I'm excited to try tonight's dinner because this was suggested by one of my subscribers. I'm not sure if she suggested this in my Facebook group or on the community tab. I want to say that it was the Facebook group, but this was suggested by Jamie Vance. So Jamie, thank you for your budget meal suggestion. So here's what we're going to be doing. We're going to take this kielbasa. I got the turkey because some people in my family are trying to eat a little healthier. So I'm going to try the turkey kielbasa. And I'm going to take these 2 cans of seasoned cabbage. I've never tried that, so I'm truly excited to see how this tastes. And then Jamie suggested getting the canned diced potatoes. I didn't get that. I got 2 russets that I'm going to dice myself because I wanted them to get crispy in the skillet, and I wasn't sure if the canned potatoes would do that. So I'm switching that up. But we're going to be putting together this 1-pot skillet meal thanks to Jamie Vance. We're going to see how it tastes. I'm going to chop up my kielbasa. I'm going to dice up my potatoes. I'm going to get it all in the skillet, and I'm going to show you how we're going to make this. I'm going to show you how it tastes. So I'm going to start first by cutting up my kielbasa into little coins, getting that in the pan just to brown up, and then we'll work on the potatoes. Once your kielbasa has some color on it like this, we're gonna remove it and put it to the side and get our potatoes into the skillet. Once your potatoes are fork tender and they start having these crispy bits here, at least that's how I like it, we are going to be adding in these 2 cans of seasoned cabbage. We're not going to drain it. I don't know if I needed both cans of cabbage. I mean, this is a lot. It's a big skillet, but I am feeding a family of 4. So I did the 2 potatoes and the 2 cans of the cabbage. I'm gonna let that kind of just simmer, and I'm gonna pour back in my kielbasa. Let's get this all stirred together. Here's what it looks like stirred together. I'm gonna let this simmer for about 10 minutes. And here's what it looks like on the plate. Let's give it a taste. Okay, so here is my plate. The way this looks, it reminds me a lot of one of the Great Depression meals that I made a while ago. And so I'll leave that playlist linked below where I made some Great Depression recipes. Yes, I changed shirts. Y'all, I don't want to cook in my pretty clothes. That was my school clothes, so I always cook in a t-shirt, whatever. All right, so let's give this a taste. I'm gonna get some potato, some cabbage, and some of the kielbasa. Okay. That's really good together. And that kielbasa is really good. I don't normally cook with kielbasa. I usually get smoked sausage, but I really like that. Thank you, Jamie. That is really good. It made a big skillet full of food. Easy to clean up, 1 pot. Definitely feeling very tasty. That was a win. It's another night of extreme budget meals for my family. I'm excited to try this one. It's a vegetarian option. I got this inspiration from Jen Chapin's channel. If you've not seen her channel, check it out down below. I'm not following it, I mean, exactly like she did it. It's similar, but you can check her out. She shares all kinds of wonderful content. And so let's get into tonight's dinner. I'm gonna be using the rest of my black beans here that I made up, and we're gonna be doing a vegetarian black bean enchilada. And enchiladas are my hands down favorite food. I love some Mexican food, and enchiladas is one of my favorites. If not, it is the favorite. And so I'm excited to try this recipe. I think this is why it kind of stuck out to me. Okay, so I've got my tortillas, my black beans. I'm gonna do half this onion. I've got another meal. I'm gonna use the other half in. Zucchini, diced tomatoes, Rotel. This is the Great Value brand. Use half of my block of cheese and some red enchilada sauce. Now this is the small can, the 10-ounce can, so I'm gonna have to stretch it. But we're gonna make black bean vegetarian enchilada. The first thing I need to do is saute my veggies. So I'm going to dice up this zucchini and half of my onion. I'm gonna get that going in a skillet on my stove. Have about a little bit of oil in there. Just take some olive oil and swirl it around. Got my chopped zucchini and onion. We're gonna let this saute until the vegetables are translucent. Once my veggies have sauteed and are soft and translucent, I'm going to add in my black beans that I have drained and rinsed. This is gonna be the filling for the enchiladas. And 1 can of Rotel. And let's get back to it. I added salt and pepper to taste. Gonna add a little bit of cumin. And some garlic powder. And let this come together for about 5 minutes. Okay, I've got my half a block of cheese shredded, got my tortillas out, got my mixture here with my slotted spoon, got the little can of enchilada sauce. I'm going to be putting this in my 9x13 casserole dish. I'm gonna be putting just a little, because I don't have much sauce, a little bit of sauce in the bottom. And then I'm gonna take my slotted spoon here, I'm gonna kind of spread it around. You know what I forgot to do? Spray my casserole dish. I don't want it to stick, so we're gonna have to improvise. We're gonna make this work, y'all. Okay. The cheese is mainly gonna be on the side, so okay, I'm gonna take some mixture. I'm gonna roll it up. I had to make some room so I can make these tighter. Okay, there's 2. I'm hoping to get all 10. I have 10 tortillas, but we'll see how much filling we have. I was able to get all 10 enchiladas rolled up in there with my filling. Now I'm going to pour the rest of my sauce over it. I'm going to be very intentional about how I pour it because I only have this 1 can. So I want to make sure that all the enchiladas get some sauce. I'm gonna sprinkle my cheese on top. I got cheddar here. You could use Monterey Jack, Pepper Jack, whatever cheese it was that you bought at the store. I did cheddar because it's gonna go good in another recipe this week. So here's my enchiladas. We're gonna put these in the oven, 350 for about 30 minutes. Here they are out of the oven. Smells amazing. Let's give it a taste. Okay, let's taste test these black bean and zucchini enchiladas. This is what it looks like on the plate. If you had it in the budget to top it with salsa or sour cream, oh, that would be so good. Or lettuce and tomato, that would be so yummy. I'm gonna eat it like this. This is what the budget called for this video. So I'm going to taste this. Look, I got a bite with everything. I need one more bite just to make sure. I'm in shock. This is so good. That feeling, I don't miss the meat. This is delicious. You have to try this. It is so good. Budget-friendly enchiladas, no meat. And it's so good. And it's a ton of food. I'm shocked. All right, for tonight's meal, we are going to be making one of your suggestions again. We're going to be making a suggestion from Kay Krausman. She commented either on my Facebook group or the community tab. I'm not sure. If you're not a member of my Facebook group, it's down in the description below. It's a great place, community that we can share ideas. So anyway, thanks Kay Krausman for this idea. Budget menu meal. We're gonna do a chicken gumbo. Now I did have to cut this down a little bit to stay in a budget because gumbo has like a lot of ingredients. But I think this might be pretty close. So I'm gonna try it and I'm gonna taste it and let you know how it is. So I'm gonna start with half of my brown rice. I'm gonna get that cooking up on the stovetop. You don't have to use brown rice, you can use white rice. This was just the cheapest option for me. I'm gonna be using up 2 more chicken breasts from that pack of chicken that I got in the freezer. I'm gonna cut up my bell pepper. You could use more onion than this if you want, but I'm trying to stretch these 2 onions across 4 meals. So I'm using half an onion. I'm gonna use some diced tomatoes, my frozen okra, and some chicken bouillon to make some broth. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get my chicken diced, my veggies diced. I'm gonna get my rice going on the stove. I'm leaving these in bigger chunks since it's a gumbo. I don't know if that's what you're supposed to do. That's what I'm doing. In gumbo, in the recipes I was looking at, a lot of times there is celery. Well, like that's in the recipe. But I didn't want to buy celery and I didn't have it in the budget. If you have celery, add celery. These recipes are totally adaptable for what you have on hand and what you're willing to spend. This is just my take on it. So take it as a jumping off point just to give you ideas. I have a little bit of oil heating up here in my big Dutch oven. I'm gonna add while my veggies are going, I'm gonna dice up my chicken. Now that my veggies are cooked, I got a little bit of a char on them. I don't know, that's what I like. I don't know if that's what I was supposed to do, but that's what I did. I have 2 bouillon cubes with 4 cups of water. I'm gonna add that in. And I need to bring this to a boil. If you have chicken stock or broth, that would work too. So I'm just gonna let this come to a boil and then we'll go on to our next step. I'm going to add in my okra and my diced tomatoes. These are like with the green chilies, and I think I messed up. I think I should have just got regular diced tomatoes, but it'll work. Let's get that in there. My frozen okra. Okay, let's give that a stir. I may have needed more tomatoes too. It's okay, we're on a budget. It's gonna be good. All right, if you got more tomatoes and you want more tomatoes, add more tomatoes. All right, now we're gonna get ready for some seasoning. I added salt and pepper. I'm gonna add some cayenne pepper. I'm not gonna measure, I'm just gonna put some in there. I don't know. And the recipe called for thyme. I have thyme, so I'm gonna put a little bit of thyme in there. It also called for oregano. I don't have any oregano, so we're not gonna use oregano. So I'm just gonna give that a stir. Bring it back up to a boil. Just to thicken this up, I have like a teaspoon of flour and just a splash of water. I'm gonna stir this up and add it to the mixture just to thicken it a little bit. Surely you have a little bit of flour and water, but if you don't, it's okay. Just making a little slurry. Add that slurry to my mixture. Give it a stir. That's just gonna thicken it up a little bit. Now that this is back up to a boil, I'm gonna take that diced chicken and drop that into my mixture. I'm gonna let this cook for an additional 6 minutes, 8 minutes till the chicken's cooked, and then we'll reduce the heat and let it simmer. The chicken is now cooked. I'm going to reduce this to low, and I'm going to let this simmer for 20 minutes. Here is that gumbo with the rice on top. All finished. Let's give it a taste test. Okay, here's my gumbo with my rice. I've never had gumbo, I don't think. That's delicious. I know it's not your truest form of gumbo. I probably could have, had a more, followed the recipe more tightly. It's a very loose follow, but it's really good. There's good flavor. It's filling, it's comforting. Thank you, Kay, for that suggestion. Extreme budget meal, chicken gumbo with rice. This last meal, I'm going to use up the things that I have left from my haul. I have half that onion, half of the rice, a can of cream of chicken. I've got broccoli, half of this block of cheddar cheese, and I'm going to make up 2 cups of chicken broth with my bouillon cubes, and I'm going to use up what's left of this chicken. We're going to be making a broccoli, cheddar, and rice cheesy chicken skillet meal. So I'm going to start by cooking up my rice, and then I'm going to be dicing up my onion and my chicken. Now that I have my chicken and onion diced up, I'm going to get that over to the stove into my preheated skillet. Have a little bit of oil in there, and so I'm just going to cook this onion and chicken until the chicken is completely done, and then we will get this skillet together. I did keep the seasoning very simple. I just added salt and pepper to taste, and I stirred that into the chicken and onions. And once the chicken is done and your rice is done, I'm going to now be putting this rice into my skillet with the chicken and onions. I'm going to be adding in this can of cream of chicken soup, and then I'm going to be adding in 2 cups of chicken broth that I made with those chicken bouillon cubes. If you have any other kind of broth, like, if you have a box of chicken stock or chicken broth or any in your freezer, or if you don't have any at all, just use water. But I'm going to be pouring in 2 cups here of the chicken broth. I'm going to give this a stir, and this is going to come up to a good simmer, and then we are going to be finishing this off with the cheese and the broccoli. Y'all, after just a couple minutes, this is so creamy and smells so comforting and so good. This is great for a day like today because it's kind of cold and rainy. And so now that I have let that simmer for a few minutes, I am going to be adding in the cheese and the broccoli. I am going to turn this down to low. I'm going to add in my cheese, give that a stir, and then we will fold in our broccoli. Now that the cheese is incorporated, I am going to pour in this bag of frozen broccoli. I did leave that kind of sitting out, so it's not quite as frozen as when I pulled it right out of the freezer. So this has been sitting on the counter since I've been making all of this. And so I'm just going to fold that in, give it a stir. And then I'm going to be covering this with a lid so that the broccoli can go ahead and come up to temperature with the rest of the rice and the chicken and the creamy sauce that is with this. And so this is what it looks like in the bowl. Y'all, this was delicious. It was so simple to make, and it made enough to feed my whole family. Even some went back for seconds. This is a great recipe. You definitely need to give this one a try. So that's going to do it for this video. I hope that you enjoyed watching what I fed my family for dinner this week for only $36. If you did like this video, give me a thumbs up. It really helps me out. And if you haven't already, subscribe. It's a fun time around here. So anyway, thanks for watching. I will see you in the next one. Bye.